this is Tony Orlando with my good friend, Jimmy DIELE.
And this is the Jimmy DIELE Celebrity Spotlight. Of course, I'm Doc G, and I got Jimmy DIELE with me. We got our guest tonight, Rodney O'Quinn from FOGHAT, Pat Travers Band. Welcome. And Sonic Mojo, a new band coming out.
Hey, how's everybody doing this evening?
Fantastic. How you doing, Rodney? Great to have you with us tonight.
Oh man, it's good to be wanted to be spoken to.
Absolutely. Of course, you are the bassist for the legendary rock band FOGHAT. Great to hear about that brand new album, Sonic Mojo. Tell us a little bit about the album.
This past week, it actually came out #1 on the Billboard Blues charts.
I saw that. Amazing.
I know. It'll be doing Happy Dance.
Yeah. That's the first time, right? In what, 52 years, you guys debuted at #1?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I was like, definitely caught us all off guard.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Especially Roger. Roger's like, how the hell did that happen?
Yeah, Roger has slowing down, right?
No.
Gonna keep this band going, man.
Yeah. I mean, people still want to hear classic live rock music and with a touch of blues to it and some boogie. So just put the big F up in the sky like the bat signal, and we will be there.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about putting Sonic Mojo together.
Yeah, it was a labor of love. We at Roger's studio, he's got a place in DeLand that we all meet at here in Florida. Mm-hmm. And Brian is a accomplished engineer in his own right. He used to be an engineer producer for King Snake Records. So he brought a lot to the table when he come into FOGHAT. Mm-hmm. And but right there at Roger's place, we've got a studio set up right there in the living room, dining room, around the corner to the edge of the kitchen. But it works, And that's where we get together and rehearse every year. Just the beginning of each year, we'll kind of try to put a new show together and stuff. So we'll get together and rehearse. And we also get together and work on new ideas. But this past year, as we finished up about this time last year, we were actually started tracking it. Mm-hmm. And we had an urgency to hurry up and basically get the drum tracks done because Roger was fixing to have shoulder surgery, which was going to put him out of commission for a while.
Wow.
So we kind of put this one together a little different than we had hoped to, but we learned a lot along the way of, what we definitely would like to do in the future. But this one was pretty much laid down with, drums first with just scratch guitar. And then we just built from there. But Brian did a fantastic job engineering it, and it sounds great. We were all like, when it was all said and done, we're like, going, wow, Brian, you're good.
You guys still rock, man, after all these years. Unbelievable.
There's a great chemistry going on right now, for sure. Definitely a renewed sense of energy and companionship and just friends having fun making music together.
Right. And the album already spawned 3 singles already?
Yes, we've already released 3 singles. It was She's a Little Bit of Everything, Driving On, and
I Don't Appreciate You. Yeah, great song.
That's FOGHAT's poke at being a punk band.
Yeah, quite an achievement after 52 years together.
Yeah. But all 3 of them we put in the show pretty quick, and they were being received quite well very quickly. So that was a very promising sign.
Absolutely love the album.
Great. Glad you dig it. We just got done doing a show in New York and a show in California, which basically were album release parties where we pretty much played. I think we played all but 2 songs off the new CD in the show.
Oh, wow.
And we did, did a little storytelling how it all came together and everything. And we just had fun with it.
Right. And you guys are on tour.
Oh, yeah. We're always on tour. Like I said, put the giant F up in the sky and we shall be there.
December 9th. We're excited about you guys coming to the Hard Rock Casino in Atlantic City.
Yeah. We're going to be out there with Grand Funk, right?
Yes. Grand Funk Railroad.
Yes.
Mark,
go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mark is, an old rocker, of course, just like you. I was going to ask you, what's the difference between, and you probably won't know, But what's the difference between Pat Travers' band and Foghat? I mean, they were like both bluesy, rocky bands. You know, they each has their own signature. I won't take that away.
Yeah, Pat was probably a little more progressive with it. I know because when I played with Pat, how I was on stage with Pat versus how I'm on stage with Foghat, how the music moves me.
Okay.
I noticed I was extremely more animated on stage with Pat because there was a lot of intricacy, and it would stop, and I had a lot of time, you know, that when my hands do, or sometimes I could like stop, sling my guitar around me, throw it up in the air, catch it, start playing again. Or Foghat, I'm constantly, you know, fingers are just constantly pumping and moving. You know, it's like so I had more opportunity to do, hey, mom, no hands. Whereas with Foghat, it's like,
there's no right. I get well. See,
yeah.
again, the songs. I mean, you know, we saw you guys in Atlantic Wildwood.
Wow. Okay.
With Eddie Money.
Oh, you were at that show.
That concert, yeah, and that concert blew me away. You guys, I met Roger in the back. You know, said hi. He was getting in the van. He said hi. And he left. But then we talked on the phone, and you know, we had a little interview with him, so it was nice. But some of the original songs that you guys still do, I'm sure you always ask. Slow Ride is still.
You know, you have to. Well, that's our problem every year. We're putting a show together, okay? Because most of our shows are just 90 minutes. Okay, that's the longest we'll play. Sometimes it's like we'll do some things where it's like only a 45-minute show is all we're allowed.
Right.
And by the time you do Fool for the City, I Just Want to Make Love to You, Slow Ride, and Stone Blue, there's your 45 minutes.
Isn't that sad?
No way to
I know you could play longer. I know you could play like an hour, 2 hours, easy.
Yeah, well, I mean, some places are that way, you know. But we actually this past year, right here towards the end of the year, we've gotten where we've added songs. It's like, well, what are we going to let go of, you know, in its place? And it's always, well, I like playing that. Well, no, I don't want to drop that. I like playing that too. So we just actually got to where the show's actually getting closer to 2 hours now. Wow. So wherever we're allowed the time, you know, with no constraint, then we'll do it. You know, sometimes with casinos, it's just like, you know, hey, you got this time and that's it. We want people on the floor spending money.
Right, exactly. Yeah. You guys were to Vegas too recently, right? Are you coming back to Vegas too, I know?
Right. I mean, we were already at Vegas and we're already booked to go back. I want to say we actually went to Vegas twice this year already.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy touring?
Yeah. I mean, come on. I make a living playing rock and roll music in a band. Come on.
There you go. That's the job.
And I get paid.
Exactly. Now, I know this all started for you very, very young, right? You were a big Elvis fan from very young, right? Didn't you use your mom's vacuum cleaner to like do a little bit of hound dog?
You know, my mama raised me right. Yeah, there's always the joke that pops up about me in the vacuum cleaner using it as a mic and stand and you ain't nothing but a hound dog.
Oh, that's so awesome. Yeah, I mean, and you pretty much self-taught yourself, right, over the years?
Yeah, I am self-taught. Wow. So all the bad things, I did it. All the good things.
What about playing bass? Tell us when that started. I think you were like about 11 years old when that all started for you.
Yeah, it was about 10 or 11 in that area, in that ballpark. Yeah.
What attracted you?
It was a friend of mine, of all things. You know, it was a simple decision actually. A friend of mine got a guitar at Christmas. There was these 3 brothers in town. They had a little band. Actually, the oldest was about 2 years older than me. He was a very accomplished piano player, but they loved Kiss and the Beatles and Elton John.
Right.
So that was like a lot of the songs they did. And the middle-aged one was a drummer, and the little one was like a token guitar player at the time because he was only like 6 or 7. You know, he'd do bad Leroy Brown and just carry a guitar around. But my friend got a guitar, so he's instantly in a band. But then he goes, "Hey, you should ask your mom and dad for a bass. We need a bass player." I didn't even know what a bass was, but I'm like, all right. And still to this day, now me, the keyboard player, and the youngest one that played guitar, we still all 3 play pretty professional regular. Actually, the keyboard player and his brother, they do a Elton tribute thing now called Greggy and the Jets.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's fantastic because his name's Greg, but he put a thing together, Greggy and the Jets, and they're fantastic.
Yeah.
It's like, so we kind of keep tabs on each other, so it's cool.
Right. So, and also when you were in high school, you pretty much had that rock and roll band going, right?
Oh yeah. See, I was one of I think I was one of those ones that grew up in the last era of every weekend someone was having a keg party and you were the band that played. And when the cops showed up, all they did was go, "All right, can y'all just turn it down a little?" I mean, they didn't even raise hell about all the kids pumping beer out of a keg. Those were the days.
Yeah, these kids today don't have an idea what we did when we were younger. They really don't. We had some good times, good people, and great music. So, what are some of the other bands that you guys became friends with? A lot of bands, didn't you, over the years?
Oh yeah. Now, one of the coolest things, like during my time playing with Pat, was I had handled the business for Pat. So I'd gotten with a promoter in the Midwest, and we had put together a tour package for, I think it was like 2010, 2011 in that time era, that we would market and sell to some of the summer and festivals and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it was basically, we called it Guitar Gods of the 70s, but we had Pat, we had Derek St. Holmes, from Ted Nugent,
right,
Mark Farner, and Ronnie Montrose. And part of the deal was, we as Pat's core band, we were the band that actually backed up all four of them. So it made for a busy day, but it was a great selling point because you could give basically 4 45-minute shows. You had minimal hotels, you had minimal flights, you had minimal backline, minimal turnover with backline because the drums, the bass rig, and one guitar rig stayed constant the whole time. So you just would have to change a rig for Mark, for Ronnie, for Derek. But that was a pretty cool package thing we did. And we were actually, I was in the works of doing a whole nother tour thing with Pat and Ronnie, just as Ronnie passed.
Oh,
wow.
So that whole thing was very devastating to me. And I'm still, in contact with his wife, Lisa. Every so often we still talk and we see each other. And that was just a really unexpected thing.
Right.
And
so you were like a rock wrecking crew.
yeah, kind of. We were like the rock wrecking crew. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was a cool thing we did. I was really looking forward to doing another tour with Ronnie, and it just didn't happen. But along the years, we've done a lot of great shows with cool people, and just got cool stories. Like I said, I love Eddie Money, man.
Eddie was such, on he did a reality show.
Yeah.
And on his reality show, it was just him. I mean, because I told Jimmy when I met him backstage, me and my wife met him. Now, Eddie just got done the concert, and he's got to take a shower and all. He's talking to my wife like, does he take the garbage out? Does he take care of you? Does he? I said, Eddie, you're ruining it. Don't, just say hi, but he's not. He was so cool. He was such a great guy.
Always had a joke. As soon as he walked into a room, always had a joke.
Yeah.
I will never forget the first time sitting down with him. We had played, of all things, this is when I'm still with Pat, in Modesto, California. This guy, uber wealthy guy, he had a big farm, but his wife, she had passed away, but he did like this memorial concert thing for her every year.
Right.
And it was literally in this guy's backyard, but his backyard, was like, his house was built up high and down towards the bottom of the hills where they would put a stage and everybody would be on the grass going up towards his house. And you would literally have 5,000-6,000 people at this backyard party. But I remember the first time I played it, there was like Eddie Money, and this is when I first met Ronnie, and Pat, and I think LA Guns. So that's the 4 bands that played at the little backyard party. The next time I played there was Pat and Winger and Night Ranger and Great White.
Wow.
You know, this is, so I guess this guy did pretty good in the farming business.
Yeah, that's amazing. You guys weren't at Live Aid, were you?
No.
Is there a reason why?
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just that you weren't one of them.
No, there's a lot of places still I'd like to play, but I've definitely got to play a lot of really cool places.
Yeah. You guys play the UK a lot too, right? Don't you?
I did with Pat. With FOGHAT, I've only been overseas once.
Mm-hmm.
Now, FOGHAT has gone to Sweden Rock a couple of times, and they've done some stuff in Europe, but not necessarily the UK. That's the funny thing. Roger's from England, but yet, you know, trying to get back there,
right,
is very hard. Because back when FOGHAT was huge, management back then just wanted to keep them in the States and in Canada. Yeah. Almost like Colonel Parker with Elvis. Like
exactly, yeah.
So even though we have a lot of offers, it's hard sometimes to justify the money of it because there's not like a proven track record.
Right.
But we just recently got an offer for a festival in Europe, but we're already booked that weekend. I'm thinking to myself, come on. We've got so many weekends open next year, and that's the one weekend you pick, the one that we already booked.
It always happens like that.
always.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's been more talk, especially with the release of the new record. We've got a lot of distribution stuff that's going on overseas on this one. So, and there's already been, you know, quite a bit of chatter about what's it going to take to get us over there. So, kind of hoping something unfolds.
So, Rodney, the songs on the album, were some of them inspired by you? Did you co-write any of them, or did any of them are yours?
No, I mean, now on this particular one, I can't say that there was anything that I inspired, but we all, you know, do an even take because everybody does their part. So, you know, everybody has writing credits on the original songs, and it's just kind of posted in order, I guess, of where it started and then where it finished off. But on the business end with FOGHAT, it's incredible. It's a very well run business, and it's very much family, and you know, and everybody gets their due applause and attaboys, and you're taken care of, you know, which is great. It's a very comfortable place to be.
I mean, you guys remind me of like at the Stones. You know, they've been together for years, and they're the only band that I know that are not, you know, having problems with each other. Everybody else is like, oh, I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to be with him. Robert doesn't like Jimmy Page. Been with him so many years. I don't like this person. I don't like that person.
Right. Now we all. That's the thing. We actually all like each other.
That's what's weird.
We're really having fun, you know. And I enjoyed playing with Charlie that was in the band when I first came in. And Charlie, you know, he put 20 years in with FOGHAT. And he decided to retire. And then, you know, there's nothing wrong with that, you know.
He served his time.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to have seen him maybe do it a little better, but it's water under the bridge. But, you know, things kind of happen for a reason.
Yeah.
You know.
Rodney, tell us how you got hooked up with FOGHAT. How did that first happen for you?
Crazy thing. Okay, I always tell the story too. I go back to when I'm learning how to play. When FOGHAT Live came out, that was one of the records I'm trying to lift the needle up because, you couldn't just, you know, with your CD player, you had to lift the needle up on the record, keep trying to move it backwards.
Right.
But that was one of my go-to records to try to see if I could figure it out. But I really dug it because you had the live crowd in the back. I would do that with a lot of the live records, but FOGHAT was one of those ones where I would think I could play with these guys. You know, wow, now I am.
Right.
I feel like Mark Wahlberg in that cheesy rock star movie. I used to have posters of these guys on my wall. Now I'm one of them. But when I was playing with Pat, some of the crew guys saw me, and then they would, you know, keep saying, you know, because every now and then Craig would take time off. Where he was managing his son's band, and every now and then they would have someone else come in, and that was always the thing. They should call you, and I don't know if they ever went back and said anything to them, but uh, at one point, I actually played Craig's hometown, and he was off that weekend, and him and his wife came out. And the next day, he picks me up, takes me to his house, cooks me breakfast. We hang out and chat for a long time. And he finally goes, if the opportunity ever arose, would you be interested? I'm like, well, I'd hate to see you go because you are, the essential fog hat. But I was like, yeah. And a few months later, I finally got a call. Just unfortunately, it was a health issue then.
Oh,
So that was the sad part of it all.
yeah.
But Roger always says it. After Craig dropped me off, he actually called Roger, and he's just like, he would just tell Roger, mini me, because you should just get Rodney.
Now, I want to ask you about the practicing, because a lot of people are going to ask this question. Do you guys still practice even before you go live or on a stage? You really don't need to.
No. Well, like it's sound check. We'll play if we got time. We'll kind of jam a little bit or whatever. But sometimes sound check's just a matter of we run through just a little bit of one or two songs. Okay, that's it. We got to go.
Right.
But sometimes if we have time, we'll jam a little bit. But we usually only practice like at the beginning of the year to figure out what we're going to do for the year, and then that's kind of it.
Right.
Now we have this past, I'd say year and a half, got together more on our downtime because of, the process of trying to put the record together, and then just different things. So we actually have spent a little more time getting together to rehearse and work things out the past year and a half than we have since when I first got in the band. When I first got in the band, it was like you had a day or two rehearsal. Okay, we're good for the year. So.
That's so cool. So you joined FOGHAT in what, in 2015?
I started playing in 2015. Yeah. Now I kind of came out and played a show or two. I was still playing with Pat. I played with Pat up through. So I did my first FOGHAT gig in July of 2015. I did my last show with Pat in June of 2016. So there was a period for almost a year, for 11 months that I did double duty. I bounced between the two.
Right.
So there were some shows that I couldn't play that then Danny Miranda, that plays with Bloister Colt,
Right.
he would come out and play. But for the most part, the way our schedules just happened to line up, it worked out that I got to do a lot of them. And I was out the very last show Craig ever played.
Mm-hmm.
It was in Orange County, California. It was going to be FOGHAT and Deep Purple. And at this point, they weren't sure, how he would do or this, that, that was the whole thing. We're bringing you anyway. So I kind of stayed in the wings just in case I needed to play.
Right.
But they did a short set and he was good to go and he played great. But that was the last show that Craig ever played with him was in 2015. I think that was the beginning of August.
Right. I know you play the bass. Do you have a favorite type of bass to play on stage?
Well, right now, believe it or not, I mean, I've been playing a Fender. I was like with Pat playing a Fender. It was the Tony Franklin fretted model. So it's kind of like a P bass with the popped up jazz pickup in the rear.
Nice.
Played Spectres for years. Love Spectre basses.
Right.
And that's what I was playing when I first got with Pat. But when I was getting ready to record the Fidelis CD with Pat, the producer insisted he wanted a passive bass, and I didn't have one. So then I got the Fender. Tony Franklin was the artist relation guy at Fender at the time, so Pat knew him, made some phone calls. Next thing you know, I got a bass in the mail. But I played it for years, and then I got which that shoulder, that one there. That there's a landing bass. That's a custom build guy out of the Pittsburgh area.
Right.
So I got that one. That's like like a twist on a jazz bass. And then I was playing it for a while. But then last year, of all things, I ran into Dave's Guitars, and I think it was in Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a PRS SE bass, just kind of a simple bass,
Right.
about $700. I loved it because it was a neck through body like my Spectres,
Right.
and it had a real big. I like a big chunky neck. You know, if there was one thing I would do different about that bass when I had to make it, I would have said, yeah, I like the jazz style body, but put me like a P bass type neck on it, you know, a bigger neck. That's the only thing I wish I would have done different on that.
Right.
But I played it and it just really sang how loud it sustained, but it really, because I'm not a very big guy, so it kind of reminded me of the Spectre. It kind of had a little bit of a smaller body, so it kind of just fit me and just sat in with me real well. And I remember a guy out in California, my friend Frank, when he started seeing me play it and see me with photos, he goes, dude, that bass suits you. He goes, I've seen you play all these other basses. He goes, that one, he goes, it just sits in real well with you. And I go, well, that's a good thing. I said, because I like it.
So to guitar players out there and people that don't understand guitars, how important is it to the feel of the neck and the bass and the head and everything? Because I'm an old guitar player too, but a lot of times it's you get what you get sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, how the guitar feels and plays in your hands. It's the difference of it being a job or you having fun.
Right,
you know,
right.
I can kind of grab just about any bass and play it a second, go, okay, I can make this work. But then there's some you just automatically, oh yeah, you know. And just same with like, you know, your amp or your tone or something. You know, I remember a long time ago I had a sound man that would always tell me he knew when my tone on stage was like the sweet zen spot, because he could tell totally different on how I played and and then just how I moved on stage. It just brought it all together.
Wow.
You know.
It really takes a good ear to hear that, though. And you're
yeah,
right.
yeah. That, I mean, that a lot of times what we might nitpick over, the average person, they're like, I don't get it. You know, that sounds the same as that. Well, no, you. So a lot of times the best way to describe it is like, you know, it's like there's a certain girl you'll kiss that you just like, okay, and there's a certain girl you kiss that you just can't stop kissing. It's the same way to I guess, to make anyone acknowledge it. You know, when you find the right playing guitar or bass, you know, it just speaks to you. That's why they always refer to it being like your girlfriend or your wife. You know,
right? Yeah.
Like Billy Sheehan and his old beat up P bass. You know, it's always referred to as the wife. He's had it forever.
Yeah.
My buddy here, his name is Chance McFadden. He's an old 60s, I don't want to say blues country musician, but also a rock musician. This is a guitar place, and he builds his own guitars, and
nice.
And has been doing it for over 40 years. So
Gotcha.
I just would put that out to people. But Rodney, is there anything that you would change going into FOGHAT, other than maybe, you know, playing maybe a little earlier with them, or
well, I mean, everything happens in its own time, you know. So I think, you know, that this is my time, you know, because I played in bands for a long time before, and then I stepped away from it all, and I became a normal guy, and then yeah, you know, I became a normal guy. But about the 07, you know, where I was in like construction sales, windows and doors, stuff like that, which I still do to this day. But around 07, when things were fixing to get really ugly, someone had said, Pat's looking for a bass player. And I'm like, I might need to check this out. Plus, I was at that point, I kind of had itch I need to scratch. Thing is, I figured 2 years tops, I'll be done.
yeah.
Actually found out I'm doing exactly what I was meant to be doing.
Right.
You know, so I'm real thankful for all of the friends and like fans that I've, you know, made this circle with. There's just a tremendous amount of people that I keep in contact with now that has come and seen me from the Pat Travers days till now to this. every now and then I'll get together with some other guys and we'll do a little throw together side thing, which we have one coming up in Texas mid-December, and people come from all over the country. They fly in for it because it's like, hey, you, this guy, and this guy, heck yeah, we're there, and it's like, it's just a network of great friends.
Right.
So it's I'm quite honored and humbled by the reception I've had from people over the years.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
As you mentioned, you're in the window and door business. Do any of your customers probably freak out when they find out what else you do?
Dude, it's such a great
Sells a
selling
lot of
point.
windows and doors is what he does.
Yeah. You always kind of look for angles when you're
There
in
you go.
sales. And so that's the thing. You'll see someone got a CD collection or a guitar in the corner. And then you go, oh, nice guitar. Oh yeah, see you got some good, classic rock stuff. Yeah. And they'll finally go, oh yeah, you in the classic? Yeah. You kind of look like you play in a band. Well, yeah, I play. And then I'll still measure windows, stuff, talk a little more, and then finally you wait till that point and you need to throw that card on the table.
Oh, by the way,
like,
I'm in FOGHAT.
I've had people though, when I would say, yeah, I play, or like someone will try to schedule something with me.
Right.
Well, can I come by the showroom on this date? I'm like, actually, I'm gonna be out of town. I'm flying out of town tomorrow. Like be a Friday or something. I'm flying out tomorrow, but I'll be back next week. And so we do, well, touring musician. I still will say, I've had people literally go and Google me, take my business card, Google me, and come back walking in the room going, dude, you're the bass player for FOGHAT.
Wow. Do they want you to sign their windows?
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
I've never had anyone say, hey, will you sign the glass? But I have had people, ask me for my autograph.
Wow.
I've had people, matter of fact, just recently, I've had quite a few people that's messaged me that they've said they've got the new CD, that they ordered it, and they want to know if, when they can come by the office that I'm going to be there, that I can sign it.
Oh, that's so awesome.
So what windows and doors company is it? Can you mention that to us?
Well, I mean, we're a dealer. There's a big window company called PGT Windows, which is they were the first company to ever have a hurricane impact window, Florida-based company, but we're a dealer for PGT in the Brevard County area. And the name of the company is Sunset View Windows and Doors, or Sunset View Construction. Right. But, when the economy went to tank, I needed to go somewhere else for a plan B. And then when things started picking up again, we found that I could come and go and still sell. A lot of times, I carry work on the road with me between airports and hotels. I got a lot of time to kill. Right. So once I do an initial meeting with people, I can take work on the road with me and, and fill my time there. And we found that it just kind of works. It works for them just like it works for me, so I take care of things, and I always let them know I'm always available. So the downfall is when it's 5 a.m. in California and your phone's ringing because people here on the East Coast, it's 8 a.m. Right. That's a drawback. But, I always make sure I'm available. That's one thing I've always kind of made a priority, that, that I am available if you need me for anything. But I've always kind of handled my business in a way that I leave plenty big trail of breadcrumbs that you can pretty much answer a lot of your questions on your own, or someone else can help you. And then last resort, you can call me. Right. But yeah, it's worked out great for them, and it works out great for me because I have an outlet instead of just being, I'm just a window guy or just a musician. I'm a guy that's got to stay busy all the time. Gotcha. So yeah. Past 2 years, I've probably been a little too busy because the band's been incredibly busy the past 2 years, and the window and door business is banging right now. It's crazy.
Well, you were on the business side of the music as well, right?
Yeah. I was always that guy that had enough sense to figure out how to get a band booked, how to promote a band, how to get into merchandising. Hey, that's streams of revenue. I was always one that had a license or had enough common sense, because I come from back in the day of the in the 80s and early 90s, when you still you're touring bands. You have what you called an A circuit, and I mean you basically had like a semi on the road to haul all your equipment, because you would pack a huge rock show into a nightclub,
Right.
And so I was one of those guys that had enough common sense to drive a semi.
Oh, wow.
So, but yeah, I'd kind of always done things. And when I got with Pat, it didn't take too long. Once I got in and I kind of looked at things, I'm going, I'm a pretty good businessman.
Right.
So then I started handling all Pat's business. And
that reminds me.
Yeah.
That reminds me of a friend that I don't know if you know him. His name's Phil Hatton, but he's Jeff Lynne from ELO's best friend from Chardonnay.
Okay.
And they traveled in 1977, 78, 79, I believe, in 18 tractor trailers for their big spaceship. They had 18 tractor trailers just for the spaceship, and then of course the band and another one. But you gotta, I mean, that's a crazy, exorbitant amount of extra baggage to some kind of concert.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's a lot of them. I like this right now, with the huge success with Taylor Swift. They say she's got like 50 tractor trailers.
I know.
Wow, amazing.
But I tell you what, kudos to her, because I mean, she gets a big picture that, about it takes a team.
Right.
I mean, and she did her drivers first, but from what I've heard through, the source, music sources, whatever, she's pretty much done it to everybody on the organization. But she started with the truck drivers first, and she literally midway through the tour gave them each $100,000 bonus.
Oh, wow.
Nice. That's nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Amazing.
Come on, 50 drivers times 100,000.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's amazing.
It's a big number.
Yeah.
But but she's one of those ones that she really, she understands that it's more than her that makes all this stuff happen.
Right.
And she seems to be a very generous person.
Right. We got
Jack Bruce. Yes, Ice reading now. Jack Bruce, unbelievable bass player.
John Talese there.
Yeah. It's funny that just popped up because I was actually listening to Cream today, and I was just like thinking to myself, it's like, while I was listening, I was doing some work. I was listening. I need to remember this and go dig my bass out and jam with this stuff again. It's been a while.
Right.
So that's crazy that popped up. Yeah, Jack Bruce, boy.
Why is it the bass line that's the simplest is the best and the easiest to remember? And it just doesn't have to be a lot. It just could be just like
no. That's the thing. I mean, actually, I've been in the past couple of days, I've been really listening to a lot of different things, digging back. And Cream was one of them today. And actually, yesterday I was on a big James Jamerson kick, Motown.
Yeah.
And just really listen to the stuff he did. And then you go back to the story of him recording What's Going On with Marvin Gaye.
Oh, wow.
I mean, yeah, he was out at a bar, like doing a gig, and he was 3 sheets in the wind when they're like, well, we need you in the studio. He couldn't even stand up. He laid down in the floor and recorded that song.
Wow.
So that What's Going On, he crafted that bass part, laying on the floor. Probably didn't even have his eyes open, and just recorded one of the most iconic bass lines in Motown history. But yeah, sometimes less is best. It's like me on the song, the Sonic Mojo. I did a lot of stuff that to me it was like it was just about serving the song. At no point was it about serving, I want to make sure I get, X amount of bass fills in or I need to put the slick lick here. It's just kind of like I would put the headphones on and I would get into the zone a little bit and I'd play, let's try this, let's try that. And I would do several takes. And then finally I'd go, okay, I think I got an idea. And, but it was about, just what would serve the song. And and that's to me is a great bass part. the bass is the bottom end. It's the foundation that everything rides on. Bass and drums create the highway. You know, that was a Craig McGregor saying too.
Yeah.
But it's so true. It's the foundation. It's what everything else goes off of. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Music doesn't have to be complicated.
Right. That's right.
I love the way you guys do Mean Woman Blues.
Yeah, sometimes I say if you're having to think while you're playing, you know, you're not doing it right.
Right. You got to feel it. It's all feel, right? You know,
right. Well, that's actually, it's always been my joke when someone would ask me something like, just before you go on stage, what are you thinking about? I'm like, nothing. And they go, you don't start really thinking about it now, you know? About the only thing I do is I make sure that, you know, real quick, you know, it's like I can hear that, you know, they got, you know, my amp is on. We all make a little noise when we're off stage, just go, okay, amps are on. Other than that, I'm not thinking about, okay, we're going to walk out and then we're going to get this song or whatever. It's like the worst thing for me to even do is think about playing, because that's when all of a sudden my head gets in the way. My hands have to tell me, no, we got this. Stop it. Just stop it. We got this.
Right. What's the craziest thing that's happened to you on stage while you're playing?
Usually it involves me falling down. knock on wood, none of that's happened in years, but throughout the years, I've had some really humdingers on stage.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Any crazy fan encounters? I'm sure a lot of fans try to get to meet you guys backstage after the show.
The funny thing is to me is, and a lot of it, you never try to tell people any different, because it's what they remember, what they recall. Right. I don't, you know, we hear it all the time, you know, people talking, I remember seeing you, like they're going to me, I remember seeing you in 1978. Yeah, that's great. In the meantime, it's like in 1978, I was 12, you know, but one of my first gigs, and I'll never forget it, because as soon as we hit, I come right on the edge of the stage. I'm getting my stance and I'm playing. And this guy's like beating his poor wife to death, smacking her, bobbling and pointing at me and smacking her and pointing at me. And then after the show, we're doing a meet and greet. He comes right up to me when it was his turn. He's like, starts smacking his wife again. He's like, I was telling her, I remember standing right in front of you as soon as you got on that stage and got that stance. I'm going, that's him. I stood right in front of him in 1978 on the Stone Blue tour. Thing is, you're not going to tell that guy any different. You know, it's like, hey, I'm glad you enjoyed the show.
So awesome. Doc G, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask you is with some of the music, of course, when you guys were there in Wildwood, and some of the music was just amazing, of course. The biggest audience participation song has to be.
Oh, for FOGHAT?
For FOGHAT, yeah.
Oh, of course it's Slow Ride.
Yeah. Slow Ride, yeah.
Slow Ride. Yeah, our sound engineer once upon a time used to call it the zombie apocalypse song, because all of a sudden, you know, there's a lot of like gigs, especially casinos, they try to keep people seated nowadays, but they'll allow them at least on the last song or two to get up and get more, especially leave your seats. So once you start Slow Ride, it's almost like as soon as Roger starts the floor tom, it's like people start getting up going, oh.
It just takes over. Yeah. Now, is FOGHAT considered? Now, a lot of people don't understand this, but is some people considered FOGHAT considered a heavy metal or non-heavy metal?
No, I would never consider FOGHAT heavy metal.
I've heard it's heavy metal for me, but I'm like, nah, it's just rock, blues rock,
southern rock, maybe.
Well, you know, sometimes that, you know, there has been slight little add-ins, like, you know, where we would get tied with some southern rock bands. But yeah, throughout the history, I mean, you know, to me, you know, FOGHAT is, you know, is your 70s rock or your boogie blues based rock. Yeah, I never really viewed FOGHAT as a heavy metal band, you know, but who knows? I mean, how people categorize things anymore. Hey, as long as you're listening, that's all that matters.
There you go. So before you go, Rodney, what we want to ask you is if you can just say whatever you want to say, and then just say you're listening to the Jimmy DIELE Show, and on Hamilton Radio. That's all.
On Hamilton Radio.
Hamilton Radio. I always play FOGHAT, by the way.
Jimmy DIELE,
Jimmy DIELE.
as in like, what's the deal?
That's it. That works.
All right. Hey, everybody, it's Rodney O'Quinn, bass player for FOGHAT, and you are listening to Jimmy DIELE on Hamilton Radio. Whoa!
Thank you.
Perfect. Wow, that's fantastic. Thank
Rodney,
you.
thank you for your time, man. We
No,
really
it's a pleasure.
We really appreciate it. Good luck with the album. We'll keep spinning the new songs and
Appreciate it very much. Appreciate
your
it.
fan
Thank
base.
you.
Let your fan base know. Hey, go to
Thank you.
hamiltonradio.net, classic rock and oldies.
Tell us
There you
how
go.
the fans can keep in touch with you guys. What's the
Yeah.
best way for the fans to keep in touch with you guys?
Now, where are you guys located?
We're in New York and New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You guys are going to be at the Atlantic City show?
We'd love to come. That'd be awesome.
You should come.
If I get an invite, I'll come. I really don't know because I've got so much going on with the studio and stuff, but I'd like to come.
Well, let me see if I can pull some strings. I know
That'd
some
be
people.
awesome. That'd be really awesome, man.
I would be delighted, my friend.
Hey, I know this guy.
You know this guy.
We know a guy now, Doc.
Well, I know Roger Neal. I know Roger. So
Right, you know, when you mentioned earlier, like Roger, and it's like, I went to say hi to Roger, but he was getting in the band. There's so many times people are like, "Hey, Roger," and he's like, "Hello, hey," and he gets in the band. All of a sudden, he'll just like, "Oh gosh, well, who the fuck was that?"
that's funny.
One other quick one. One day we were at airport. We had flown in the day before, and actually this guy was on the plane beside me, and I'm looking where he's got his laptop out, and he's got all these fantastic photos out in outer space. I'm like going, wow, I've never seen these before. Where'd you get these? And the guy's like, that's my personal collection. First, come find out, I'm sitting next to Story Musgrave.
Oh,
He's the guy whenever the Hubble telescope needed something fixed, they sent up.
They said for him, yeah.
So the next morning we had an early lobby call, and apparently he was staying at the same hotel, and he did too. So his ride hadn't showed up yet, and we're kind of getting ready to go. And Roger was the only one that didn't really pick up who he was. And then it was like going, "Hey, we got room." I said, hey, let me give him a ride. His ride hasn't showed up yet. He's on the same flight as we are. It was only like a 20-minute ride. And Roger's like, it goes, "Oh, he could bug off because he get his own ride." And it was just as we get in the van, I go, "Man, that's kind of like not cool." I said, "Man, that dude's like an astronaut." And then Roger's like, "Huh?" I go, "Yeah, that's Story Musgrave, astronaut, blah, blah." He goes, "Well, why didn't you fuckers tell me?" So then he's up the door and he's like going, "Hey, astronaut man, you can come ride with us."
Oh, that's great.
Thank you, Rodney. I appreciate it. But if you do get tickets or a VIP, let me know. I'm at admin, ADMIN, admin at hamiltonradio.net. And I'll share with you.
I will. And well, our PR person's got contact on you as well.
Great, fantastic.
Absolutely. And John Lappin, great guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let me see what I can do.
Great. I appreciate it, Rodney.
Thank you, Rodney. We wish you
man.
a lot of well.
Thank you.
Good
All right, man. Thanks for spinning the new music.
See you in Atlantic City.
We love it. Thank you, man.
All
right.
Take care.
All right. See you.
Thanks, Rodney.
All right.
Bye.
What a great guy. Oh,
awesome
my God.
Awesome guy.
So Jimmy, who we got coming up on was it this coming Monday, right?
This coming Monday, we have Al Bandero's wife, Marlene Bandero. She's going to talk about her brand new book. It's a follow-up to her last book. She's been on the show before, so we're happy to have her back. And then also we have Lee Newton on the way, and we have some more great people, too. We'll let you know about that coming up.
And by the way, my friend there, Kenny Young, is going to have a brand new show coming with us, hopefully in 2024.
Oh,
He's
cool.
also a musician from the Kenny Young Band.
Nice.
And I've been playing Kenny Young probably since I would say, late 2000s, something like that.
Right.
Great band. Love them. The great guys. And, of course, he's trying to put it back together again. So we'll see what he can do. I want to give a shout out to John Terlizzi and, of course, Tom Payton. And who you got, Jimmy?
We got Cindy in Lake Ronkonkoma. We have my mom out in Brooklyn. We have Tommy out in Gravesend, Tricia out in Sun City, Florida. So many people that listen to us every week. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for being part of this. We'll talk to you soon. We have more celebrities coming up very soon, so keep checking.
Absolutely. Yeah, check us out Monday. We'll keep you all posted about that for sure.
And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channels, Hamilton Radio 1 and Iron Horse Films LLC and Hamilton Radio. So We'll see you guys soon. God bless
Have a great
everybody.
week, everybody.
Bye-bye.